All right. Okay. Likutei Moharan Torah Yudches. We are holding by Sif Hey. So, okay. We have, until now we explained that people that don't have emunah, perfect emunah. Just 1 second, excuse me for a minute. That don't have clean, complete emunah, which, because of that, they don't have true compassion. That makes them unfit to rule. And we already explained that the emunah is like a fence around the malchus, around the authority. And it guards the malchus that he shouldn't be taken by somebody who is unfit. How does it guard? The emunah, when somebody doesn't have a complete emunah, what it does is it causes that leader who is unfit to detest his own advisors. Now the advisors are those who gives kiyum, gives standing to the authority. When a ruler starts detesting his advisors, that tells you that he's going to come down. But there is a possibility that that ruler will totally separate the emunah from the malchus by an overabundance of heresy and idol worshiping, until the emunah can no longer protect the malchus. Now, Rabbeinu explained this is also shaykh by the goyim. Even when they reign over us, they control us, still they do not attain the malchus of Israel. And if they do, immediately they fall into detestation and revulsion of their own advisors, and they fall off. It says Sifhei, Obemet Malchei Akum, the kings of the Goyim, Afal Dishemolchim Aleinu, even though they reign over us, Einu Mechusam Kras Malchus Yisrael V'lo Nagu Bo. Their authority, their kingdom has nothing of the kingdom of Israel. They haven't even touched it. It's Malchus the Kedusha. The main inyan of Malchus the Kedusha is to lead the Jewish people in spiritual matters. This is Malchus Yisrael. I mean, they can tell you to pay taxes or do this or do that, but they cannot enforce Am Yisrael to behave spiritually according to their way. They don't have Malchus Yisrael. For anybody who wants to touch it, this and this, lo nizkar b'yodeh. Mishu רוצה לנגוע, but anybody who wants to touch Malchus Yisrael, זה וזה lo nizkar b'yodeh. They lose both. Even their kingdom, their rulership over the Goyim, even this is being taken away from them. Since they don't have emunah, they are not fit to have malchus over Am Yisrael. That's why emunah shesvir malchuseinu, the emunah that surrounds our malchus, it guards our malchus, and it defaults their wisdom, their advisory capacity. advising capacity, shemalchusam tolabim, their malchus depends on that. This is what's written in the defeat of Mitzrayim. Noyalu Sayat Tzoyan. The minister of Tzoyan, which is a town, a major city in Mitzrayim, became stupid. Noel means stupefied. They became stupid, they became fools. Alidei Ivelis, through that stupidity, Hainu Niflas Chochmasam, the falling, the crumbling of their wisdom. Their melucha, disintegrated, because it is the chokhmah that props up the malchus. Well, Nebuchadnezzar, we had in history a few kings, rulers that have awful reputation. Genghis Khan, Ivan the Terrible, the Count Dracula, not the one from the reason why they called, the legends of vampires after his name, because it was a guy who was cruel beyond belief. And Stalin and Hitler, all those were just a preview, were just, fit for all ages version of Nebuchadnezzar. He was the real McCoy. Nebuchadnezzar was a midget. A big, small in height, but wide. And the Gemara says an awful, very, crude thing about him physically. It was practically as long as his height was. The taiva, whatever it is. And he was so scary. You're talking about scary? Stalin was a joker compared to him. He was so scary when he conquered Yerushalayim. Now was it 3 weeks when he conquered Yerushalayim? They shechted people there just because of the blood of Zechariah on the floor. They shechted 60,000 pirkei kehuna to see if it's the same kind of blood. It was just like, it's unbelievable. Throwing people to fire, throwing people to just. People were so scared of him. What happened was that for 7 years, he became crazy. It was one of his, he used to feed, when he took the people to Babel, so he used to give food to the Jews that came to his gate. He used to give them food, he used to come, he used to give them food. One day he wakes up, he says, who has those unwashed masses, this rubble next to the gate of it? That's the Jews come to him and say, don't feed them anymore. Oh, don't feed them anymore. He became crazy. And he went to the wilderness for 7 years. Wilderness. For 7 years. He became crazy. He thought it was an animal. He lived with the animals. The Gemara says that the animals, copulated with him. It was totally under the laws of the animals. Well, what do you know? 7 years later, he comes back. Who comes back? Nebuchadnezzar comes back riding on a lion. He is riding on the lion. A real lion. He is riding on the lion. The lion was scared of him. Everybody was totally on the floor. They were so scared. when he finally died, the people, his mamlocha, would not consent for his son to become king instead of him until he took his father and dragged him all through the street, the corpse, and dragged him all through the streets of the entire Babel just to make sure that SOB is finally dead. It's like, okay, so Nebuchadnezzar Shchik Tamya, that decided he's going to make big idol with his image. Everybody's supposed to come and bow down. The only one person that, and whoever doesn't bow down, they have this furnace which they are burning for 7 days and 7 nights, just running, okay? Whoever doesn't bow down, they couldn't even stand close to whoever doesn't, is being thrown to the furnace. The only one he didn't force to bow down was Daniel. Because he had Daniel, because Daniel told him the dream and the whole story, whatever it is, he had Daniel to be a Getchke. Daniel was like an idol for him. He was afraid that Daniel's not going to bow down, he's going to throw him to the fire. People can say, hey, he threw his God into the fire. So Daniel, he's out. But Daniel had 3 other friends. It was Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. They were still there. And when they came, and they were like the 4 children that were serving the Jews, the beautiful children, said he wants 4 children that they should serve the king in his palace. So Daniel was pater from from the reserves, from the Miluim. Don't have to go bow down to the idol. But Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, they were supposed to go. So they told him Nebuchadnezzar, when he ordered them to bow, Ata melech aleinu lechalgo. You are our king as far as taxes and arnona and all this kind of stuff. But to lead us as far as faith and worshiping, you and a dog are equal. So what happened was that, so they threw them into the flame. They threw them into the flame. It was this big miracle that they wouldn't burn. They were walking around in the fire like people are walking in the garden. Nebuchadnezzar came and said, "Oh, please come out." And it's unbelievable that afterwards, that how did they die? And after they weren't such a miracle, they wouldn't burn. The Gemara has quite a few interesting things to say about this whole episode. One of them, that it said that through to the fire they were willing to do it, but if they were tortured, they would have bowed. So in other words, it wasn't that they were totally immune to physical pain, but they were willing to give over their lives. How did they actually die? That the Goyim afterwards says, you have such a God that can save you in such a thing, and then you have your people going serving, and they spit on them. All the Goyim spit, they drowned in the spit of the Goyim spitting on them. The whole thing is full with mystery what the whole thing is, because Chazal, in many places in the Gemara, they're saying these really, truly outrageous statements that are aimed to bring your attention to a certain nakuda that is in there. You didn't touch the Malchus of Israel that has to do with our Emunah. That's the Malchus Israel, that its inyan is to lead Am Israel spiritually. Our Emunah surrounds the Malchus. And it surrounds it, and it keeps it that a stranger should not touch it. And it pushes those who chase it to Emunah Chacham. If not, that the hand of heresy overcomes the Emunah, until it drops the Emunah. Then even the Goyim can get our Malchus Chas V'Sholom, V'Chinas V'Zohar, Chala V'Nochas, and it's through, Chala, there's Chometz, which is minus, drops down the Emunah and separates it from the Malchus Canal. We'll see. Okay, this is a short thing. B'ezrat Hashem, tomorrow we'll continue to see
Shabbos morning.